5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All systems go with Josh Appelbaum starts now.
Hello and welcome to episode 418 of the All Systems Go Sports Betting Podcast, powered by Rhythm. I am your host, Josh Appelbaum. What's going on, everyone? Happy Thirsty Thursday. You know what that means. It's a Thursday, so we have a couple big things going on. Number one, we have our Rhythm Rundown tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Myself, my buddy, Cade Harper, going through all the football games this weekend, NFL, as well as college football playoffs, so looking forward to that. And just a reminder, I always mention Rhythm because they do a great job of powering this pod, giving us those AI-backed models and predictions. But if you would like to give Rhythm a shot, there's a 7-day free trial, and if you like it and you want to keep it, all you got to do is use the promo code START25, START25. It'll give you 25% off. So if you're interested or you want to refer a friend, that's also available to you. You'll both get a little bit of a sweetener there as well. So looking forward to another Rhythm Rundown tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, streamed live on Twitter. I hope to see you guys there. Also, it's a Thursday, so you know what that means as well. Not just the Rhythm Rundown, but Thursday Night Football, baby. Can you believe it? It's Week 16. Only a few weeks left in the regular season, but this matchup tonight is very juicy. It's a very, very short number. It's nearly a pick'em game, although one team has become a clear favorite here. So do have a play here for you guys on the side for Rams in Seattle. We're also going to talk about the weather because the weather is really affecting the total here. But I do have the one bet for you guys for Thursday Night Football. And then I have a couple plays upcoming for Friday and Saturday in the college football playoffs. So there's two games that really jumped out to me. They're extremely heavily bet. We got good sharp line moves. One is a play I want to get down on now, hoping that it doesn't move further toward this side. And then the other one is a spot where I want to grab the hook right now before it gets down and we maybe can lose by 3 in cash versus lose by 3 in push. So couple upcoming plays here, college football for the playoff. Not just bowl games, but these very important playoff games. So we got Seattle and the Rams tonight, best bet, Rhythm Rundown tonight, and then 2 upcoming college football playoff games for tomorrow and for Saturday. Now, looking back toward yesterday, guys, pretty good night. 2-1, plus 0.84 units. I'm glad we really focused on college football because went 2-0. Really kind of applying the blueprint that we've used to start. So not bad. 3-0 so far in our first 3 bowl games. And the whole angle for me when you're betting these bowl games is you're trying to marry the betting market and what it's telling you, the splits with the line movement, and then, of course, also looking at, okay, what's causing a lot of these line moves? What's the reasoning? Are there opt-outs? Are there coaches who have left and there'll be an interim coach? Are there guys who are injured? This is super important because you got to know also what it means to both teams. Like, for example, 2-0 last night in the bowl games, including the first one there, Old Dominion. Old Dominion with a really sharp move at one point, plus 7.5, all the way down to 4 or even 3.5. Remember, Rhythm had Old Dominion plus 0.5 or plus 2. We also had a 10% sharp mush edge with Old Dominion, so really everything was lining up with Old Dominion. And the other angle that we liked was South Florida had their starting quarterback who was out, had a bunch of other players who opted out. So that game meant a lot to Old Dominion, trying to get their first bowl win with their head coach, which happened, 24-10 win. So great hit there with Old Dominion. And then Delaware, baby, the Blue Hens, they made us sweat. It was probably too close for comfort there at the end, but Delaware won outright 20-13. And that was a great hit for us, whether you got the plus 2.5 or even plus 1.5. But remember, Rhythm had a plus 0.4, plus 0.5. So Rhythm was saying, hey, it should be about a pick'em game. We could get upwards of 1.5 or 2.5. And the angle there was Delaware had the motivational edge. Delaware is a new entry, I should say, into FBS. So they are in the big leagues now. First year, you want to win a game. You want to win a bowl game. Get your program off on the right foot versus Louisiana, who didn't have a ton of opt-outs, but Louisiana had kind of a down season. They had a really good year last year, 10-4, made a good bowl game, made their conference championship game. This year they were 6-6 and probably were disappointed to play in that small little bowl game there. So the motivation was on Delaware. The line moved toward Delaware. Sharp mush edge, rhythm edge, Delaware came through. So a great little 2-0 with Old Dominion and Delaware. The only loser was so laughable, I didn't even get mad. I just laughed out loud because I was out with the wife doing some errands, and I had to kind of miss some of this game. But I looked at the score, Xavier and Creighton. Xavier was down like 40 points. They ended up losing the game. I don't even know what the score was. What was it? 98-57. A favorite that opens -2 gets steamed up to 3.5, and you lose by, 40 points. So that was pathetic. Absolute no-show by Xavier. But again, I'm glad we said to ourselves, hey, college football, bowl games, we got an edge here. College basketball, there's a lot of games, but let's not force it. An old friend of mine, a mentor of mine, always said, Josh, try to maximize your edge. If you feel like you have an edge in one sport over the other, don't force it in the sport that you don't have the edge in. Focus on the sport that you do have the edge in. So a good little 2-1 plus 0.8 for unit night. So that being said, let's waste no more time. I got one play for tonight. Let's try to go 1-0 and keep this little hot streak going. So obviously we have a huge game tonight, Rams and Seattle. So make sure you got your Amazon Prime locked and loaded, ready to go here. Let's set the stage, talk line movement, split system matches, and I'll give you my play for this one. So right off the bat, very important game because I believe the winner gets the number 1 seed in the NFC. So this is not one of those games where sometimes you got to look at motivation, like a lot of these games upcoming this weekend where a team has been eliminated or a team is going to a backup quarterback or it doesn't really mean much to either team. No. This one means a lot to both teams. Hopefully we get a good game here tonight. But anyway, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time, Rams at Seahawks. The Rams come in 11-3. They've won 2 straight, just took down the Lions 41-34. They covered as a 5.5-point home favorite. Meanwhile, the Seahawks, also 11-3, just edged the Colts 18-16. They beat Old Man Rivers, but they did not cover. They were favored by 12.5 at home in that one. So what have we seen across the market? Well, this game opened Rams listed as a very short 1.5-point road favorite. And the public says Rams are the better team. Now, again, teams have the same record. Seattle has home field advantage, but the public says, Rams, they remember them winning the Super Bowl a few years ago. Stafford is the MVP frontrunner. They have the best Super Bowl odds, so there is a public bias in favor of the Rams. However, even though the Rams are getting 65% of spread bets at DraftKings, the Rams open -1.5. They're not up to -2, -3. Nope, this line is completely flipped. Woo! We got to come up with some kind of siren. That's our Ken Palm sound the alarm in college hoops. But what's our dog to fave siren? We got to come up with some kind of barking noise or something. But anyway, this line is flipped towards Seattle. So even though 65% of spread bets are going with McVay and Stafford, we've seen this line flip to Seattle -1.5 at home. So Seattle has gone from +1.5 to -1.5. Now, right off the bat, dog to fave gets me excited. I love playing a dog to fave line move because it really tells you that a lot of big money, respected money, again, not just big money, but coming from who? A lot of people always say, follow the money, which makes sense, but I want to follow the money of the sharps, not follow the money of the public. But anyway, it looks like sharp money is on Seattle because they flipped +1.5 to -1.5, even though nearly 2/3 of bets are going with the Rams. So not only do we have a dog to fave line move, not only do we have a reverse line move, again, public Rams line Seattle, we also have a fade the trendy dog play tonight. It's very rare that you get a contrarian favorite in a primetime game because normally the public wants to hammer that favorite. So the fact that the Seattle Seahawks, take away the dog to fave line move, take away the RLM, just the fact that they're favored and yet they're only getting 1/3 of tickets, that just doesn't happen very often. So that is a very rare contrarian opportunity. As a dog better, 9 times out of 10, or as a contrarian better, 9 times out of 10 you're taking a dog. This time we get an opportunity to play the favorite, lay the chalk, because they're very unpopular, which again, public wants to bet the quote-unquote better team that's expected to win. But they're not doing it tonight. They're going Rams, yet the line is going to Seattle. So sharp RLM, fade the trendy dog, great contrarian value, dog to fave. Then we get into the splits. Splits look really good on Seattle. At DraftKings, 35% of spread bets, 44% of spread dollars. At Circa, 38% of spread bets, 73% of spread dollars. So especially that Circa split tells me a lot of big money fading that trendy dog Rams and going with Seattle here. Now, I went Seattle on the money line. I was able to get Seattle as low as -112. I believe that was at either Fanatics or FanDuel. But some books are as low as, I want to say, maybe it was -120. But yeah, some books are as high as minus 125. But either way, it's a very short money line price. McVay can go for 2. Weird things can happen. We're going to talk about the weather in a second, so there could be some missed kicks. It's very windy in Seattle tonight, which is why we've seen this total really plummet. More on that in a second. But it's not that expensive, around minus 120, minus 125, so that's what I did. Late it was Seattle money line here. You look at the splits at DK on the money line, 34%. Let me find this for you. 34% of money line bets, but 52% of money line dollars. So another really good split there in favor of Seattle winning this game outright. And then aside from that sharp money line split, we got a lot of good money line systems lighting up here on Seattle. When both teams are coming off a win, which is the case here, take the home favorite. Very simple, but that system is 23-9, 72% straight up this year, 2% ROI. And since 2022, both teams coming off a win take the home favorite. That's 115-42, 73% with an 8% ROI. Then we get into the short week. So it is Thursday Night Football, which typically favors the favorite and the home team because it's a short week. So again, it's kind of an advantage to the home team, especially when they don't have to travel. But Thursday Night Football home favorites, they're 7-4 straight up this year, 64%. They are 140-51, 73% straight up with a nearly 5% ROI since 2006. Also, it's a revenge game. This reminds me a little bit of the Patriots and the Bills, where I was on the Patriots, lost that one over the weekend. But the Patriots had it's a divisional opponent, and Patriots had beaten the Bills at the Bills earlier in the year. It's very difficult to win both games against a divisional opponent. So, for example, the Seattle Seahawks went to the Rams back in Week 11. It was a very close game. They lost 21-19. Now they're at home with that revenge angle in mind. And again, hard to beat a divisional opponent twice in a season. Then we get into a decent sharp mush edge, a 7% sharp mush edge from our friends at Juice Reel. And then I also have a Green Star recommended money line play from our friends at Rhythm, also on Seattle. So everything's lining up for me on Seattle, guys. Publix Rams, yet we went dog to fave in favor of Seattle. We're contrarian with a reverse line move and a fade the trendy dog spot. We got good bet splits straight up. We got good betting system straight up. We have a revenge angle. And oh, by the way, no Devontae Adams tonight. So Devontae Adams, or at least he's technically doubtful, but not expected to play. So that's a really good player who will not suit up here. So you add it all up, I'm going Seattle Seahawks on the money line. Again, you can shop around and find around a minus 120. Now, I'm not playing the under, but I just want to mention this because it is a big, if you're like a windy under system match player, which I typically am, although I don't want to force a total when I feel like I have a really good edge on the side, because I'd hate to go 1-1 and lose slightly a little bit of juice when I could go 1-0 and turn nearly a unit in profit. But anyway, if you're forcing me, gun to the head, I'm going to go under here. Maybe you also want to tease it up. That could be an angle too and pair it with another game. But this total is absolutely plummeted. It opened as high as 47.5. It's all the way down to 43 or even 42.5 across the market. That's notable because 71% of bets at DraftKings are going over. So the public's hammering the over, yet the total has fallen. Circa, only 16% of bets, but 56% of dollars are on the under. And once again, I kind of hinted at it, but it is a big weather play in Seattle. Now, it's not freezing cold. It's going to be like 50 degrees, which is kind of warm, it seems like, from an outsider's perspective. I thought Pacific Northwest would be much colder. But the key is the wind. You are expecting low 50s temps, but 20 mile per hour winds, gusts up to 40 miles per hour. And most of that, it's going to be sustained 10 plus mile per hour winds throughout the game, but that really, really heavy 20 mile per hour and 40 mile per hour gusts, that's going to be mostly in the first half. So I was thinking to myself, okay, like if you really want to get, hopefully, identify a really good angle here, like maybe you play the first half total. It's sitting at around 21 and a half. You can find it 20 and a half. That would make sense if the weather is going to be really bad, especially early. But we do have primetime unders, 28 and 21 this season, 57%, 9% ROI. They are 129 and 92, 58%, 12% ROI since 2022. We get to our windy under system matches when the wind blows at least 10 miles per hour or more. The under is 21 and 11 this year, 66%, 25% ROI. It's 162 and 185, 59%, 13% ROI since 2016. And then another angle that you always want to keep an eye out, especially late in the season, outdoor divisional unders. You know your opponent. There's weather typically involved, so it's not a dome or a closed roof stadium. But outdoor divisional unders are 26 and 23 this year, 53%, 2% ROI. But they are 325 and 275, 54%, 5% ROI since 2017. So again, you can probably find a 43 if you want to go under. I'd go under or nothing. But again, I feel like I have a really strong edge here with Seattle. So I'll lean under and hope all you guys hit your primetime windy under. But my one play for tonight, Seattle Seahawks. Really checking off almost every box here. See if the Seahawks can get a winner. Let's go Sam Darnold. Darnold's been really good since becoming a starter, or his second go-around, I guess you could say. The Vikings and now Seattle. But I'm always in the back of my mind worried about the old bad Sam Darnold showing up and throwing a pick. So let's play well tonight, Sam Darnold. How about that? But let's go Seattle on the money line. That's my play for tonight. Now, hoping to get a little bit out ahead in some of these games, I want to just highlight a couple that jumped out to me. And again, we got tomorrow's pod, which is obviously a Friday, wrapping up the week, so I'll have my full best bet card. But I am looking at some of these college football playoff games. Like, we've been doing really well with our bowl games, knock on wood, 3-0 start. But I had some people DM me on Twitter and be like, okay, well, what about the big boys? What about the big ones? What are you doing for the college football playoff games? So I landed on two that I thought were worth betting right now. So the first one is tomorrow night. Which I'm a little annoyed because my wife and my good friend and his wife, you know what they did? They said, we got to get together. Let's go do a pottery class together. So we're literally going to a pottery class tomorrow night, which, again, annoying. I want to watch Alabama, Oklahoma, but what are you going to do? You got to make the wives happy. So literally we're going to be sitting there with like our hands dirty with the clay making pots. So that's married life. You got to keep the wife happy. Anyway, Alabama, Oklahoma. 8 o'clock tomorrow night, extremely heavily bet. First college football playoff game, be on ABC. I got to play for you. So Alabama comes in as the 9th seed. They are 10-3 on the year. But last time they played Georgia in the SEC championship game, got rolled 28-7. Don't remind me, I was on Bama there. Meanwhile, Oklahoma, they're ranked 8th, or they're the 8th seed here in this college football playoff. They're 10-2. They've won 4 straight, and they just beat LSU 17-13. Now, important thing to know here is these are true home field games. So home field advantage is not a neutral site bowl or anything like that. It's true home field. So it means it's in Oklahoma, Norman, Oklahoma. Now, let's look at what the betting market has done. A lot of these books opened around a pick 'em. Some shops opened Alabama as high as -1.5. And basically the public doesn't know what to do. If you look at DraftKings right now, it's 50-50, right down the middle. What do we always talk about? 50-50 bet split. Theoretically, in a vacuum, line shouldn't move at all because you would expect with balanced action, equal tickets both side, there's no need for the odds makers to move the number up or down. However, when you see a 50-50 split, but yet the line does move, I like going with that line move because it tells me that even though the public is split and they don't know what to do, sharps have taken a position. And sharps look to have taken a position on Oklahoma. Give me Oklahoma money line here, guys. They open at a pick or +1.5. Very similar to the Seattle Seahawks game. They've now flipped to -1. Some shops even, -1.5. So we got a dog to fave line move on the Sooners. If you look at the split at Circa, like DraftKings is 50-50. Public doesn't know what to do. But at Circa, only 31% of bets, but 86% of dollars are on Oklahoma. So a big low bets, higher dollar split. Tell me smart money out in Vegas going with Oklahoma. You do have the true home field advantage, which if you remember last year, a lot of those true home field games, the home team really did well. So maybe it's even more heightened when it comes to the time of the playoffs. But I have 2 rhythm system matches, both on Oklahoma. First one says Oklahoma should be -2.4. So you're probably like, oh, that's pretty damn good, right? -2.4. I can money line a -1 or 1.5. But guess what? Second model says Oklahoma -5.7. So a big rhythm edge here in favor of Oklahoma. I also have a Green Star recommended money line play from Rhythm on Oklahoma, so that's what I'm doing. I was able to get Oklahoma -110 at FanDuel. The other angle for me is defensively, because Oklahoma has one of the better defenses in all of college football. They're only giving up 14.9 points per game. Now, Alabama isn't great either, but they're giving up 18.8. So the combination of kind of a pick 'em to fave or dog to fave line move in favor of the Sooners. Great bet split at Circa. Some fantastic rhythm edges here. True home field advantage. Better defense. And I'm not going to get into like coaching, but Kalen DeBoer, maybe he proves me wrong and they win on the road here, but he's just not a coach I believe in very much. So I'm going Sooners with this one, guys. I got Sooners money line. Let's go Oklahoma. Win the damn game. Survive and advance. Minus 110 at FanDuel on the money line. Next one for you. I'm going to play a dog here, guys. Miami, Florida, Texas A&M. It is the game on Saturday at noon. I kind of wish it was your late game, which James Madison, Oregon is your late game. That's a spread of like 21. I don't know why they wouldn't put Miami, Texas A&M as your 8 o'clock game. Anyway, whatever. But coming into it, we have Miami 10-2. They are the 10 seed. They've won 4 in a row, just beat up on Pittsburgh 38-7. Texas A&M 11-1, the 7 seed, but they just lost to Texas 27-17. They started 11-0, so they lost they're coming off a loss, their first loss of the year. So what have you seen across the market? Well, this game opened Texas A&M, again, true home game, minus 3.5 at home. Some books I saw one book even open like 4, maybe 4.5. I think there's maybe a bit of an outlier, but mostly minus 3.5 A&M at home. And the public is saying A&M all day. A&M has been really, aside from their last loss, they were like as high as I think ranked number 2 or 3 on the year at certain times. I know they at least got to 3, but they were like just rolling. So the public is saying short spread, better team at home, maybe Miami. Like when I was young, here I am, I'm going to sound old. I'm 38 years old now. But I remember like in high school, like Miami was the coolest team, the U. They had like Ed Reed and like all these Jeremy Shockey. Remember that? I remember a lot of kids in my school love Miami. But anyway, I don't know. Maybe there's a feeling of like Miami just, is a paper tiger or just not the belief or support for the U like it used to be. So public is going A&M. Currently you're getting 65% of spread bets on Texas A&M. But they open minus 3.5. They're not up to 4 or 4.5. They're actually juiced toward Miami, plus 3.5, minus 115. And I'm seeing 2 books get down to 3. So this is the game I mentioned earlier where I want to grab Miami plus 3.5 with the hook because it looks like it's getting down to 3. And if Miami loses by 3, we got to win that bet with the hook. So again, even though public's on A&M, the juice is toward Miami and the line's falling toward Miami. It tells me smart money here on the U. And also at Circa, it is down to 3. It's always important to me at Circa. Where are they at? Because they're really sharp. It tells me that, again, a lot of money has come in. They're not willing to give out the hook anymore with Miami. So not only is Miami contrarian in a heavily bet game with some line freeze, juice, RLM, but if you look at the splits at DK, 35% bets, 73% dollars on the spread. I even noticed 27% bets, 57% dollars on the money line. So if Miami wins outright, hey, fine by me. I'm going 3.5 here. Then we get to rhythm. I have 2 rhythm recommendations, both on Miami. Miami plus 3.1 and Miami plus 2.4. So it's not a huge edge. It's not like yesterday where, rhythm was basically saying, Delaware plus 0.4 and you could get a 1.5, or, Old Dominion plus 0.5. We got a 3.5 or 4. It's not a huge edge, but it is an edge. Basically, rhythm is saying it should be a 3-point game or less, and we can still get the hook with the 3.5. And then lastly, we got a dog who can score system match with Carson Beck, who transferred after being with Georgia, put up a pretty good year, 25 touchdowns, but they're averaging 33.1 points per game. So again, if you're going to cover a number as a dog, and his total has fallen, looks like some smart money hit the under, 51.5 down to like 48.5, 48. But if you're a dog and you got to cover the number, either you got to have a low-scoring game and play great defense, or you got to be able to put up points, keep pace, or backdoor cover, which Miami hopefully can do. Knock on wood. But long story short, guys, public all over A&M, but the juice, the movement, the liability, it's going toward Florida, Miami, Florida. So give me the U plus 3.5. I got them plus 3.5, minus 110 at Fanatics. Again, a lot of shops, though, are plus 3.5. Minus 115, and some books down to 3. But going Miami 3.5 and Oklahoma money line. So that about does it for episode 418 of the All Systems Go Sports Betting Podcast, powered by Rhythm. This is the part of the pod where we wrap things up. I always start first by saying thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to sweat some sharp, data-driven breakdowns with me. If you do enjoy the insights, you look forward to the pod, hopefully. Whether you tail fade or do whatever you like, hopefully I'm giving you a perspective that you're not getting anywhere else because we're focusing on data, not opinions. Because I learned a long time ago, opinions, they're not going to get you far. We all have them, but they're not always reliable. But if you would like to help me grow the pod, please, would you consider giving it a 5-star review on Spotify or iTunes? Leave a nice comment if you'd like. Under the reviews tab, hit the follow button. Retweet the pod when I tweet it out each day, or recommend the pod to a friend. That would all be awesome of you. Next, we're coming close to Christmas here, guys. What are we, a week away? Yeah, next Thursday. So if you are scrambling for a last-second gift, you enjoy the insights, you want to learn more about data-driven betting, or you got to give a gift to your dad, your uncle, your cousin, whoever, you still got time. Go to Amazon.com, type in the NFL Sharp Betting Playbook or the Everything Guide to Sports Betting. Both of my books I'm very proud of. But if you'd like to grab one or both as a last-second stocking stuffer or gift, I think that person in your life would appreciate it more than a pair of socks. And if you want to bring one or both of those books to the sports book, I'll sign them for you, and I'll buy you a beer or ginger ale, and we'll sweat some Seahawks together tonight. Next, have you downloaded Rhythm and Juice Reel yet? Well, if you haven't, now's the time. You can get great AI-backed models and predictions for game bets and player props with Rhythm. Again, they had great edges on Delaware and Old Dominion last night, which helped us make those selections, which was great to see. Reminder, Rhythm Rundown, 6 p.m. Eastern Time tonight on Twitter. But then also Juice Reel. If you enjoy the insights and you want to tip your podcast host, you're in the giving spirit because it's the holiday season, I would love for you guys to sign up to get the All Systems Go Best Bet Picks directly from the Juice Reel app. I am synced up. You can follow the plays as soon as I make them. They go right to the app, and it costs you $4.99 a week, $5 for a week's worth of plays. You're also going to get the Robo Jackson Best Bet Picks, the Sharp Mush Indicators, the Arbitrage Plays, the Shop for the Best Line Futures, all available when you download Juice Reel. So download Juice Reel and download Rhythm and give them a 5-star review in the App Store. Next, do you have a live odds page? Well, if you don't have one, you need one. It's a very, very critical and important tool if you're going to be a sports bettor, especially if you're serious about sports betting and you want to get better. You know, really the key to the puzzle is tracking the data. What did the line open at? Where is it now? Looking at line history, pulling that up, getting live in-game wagering odds, live scoring, being able to track Steam, shopping for the best price with all the books in front of you, making sure you get that extra hook, that special number. Well, you can do it all with Odds Logic. So if you want to give Odds Logic a shot, here's a link to go to, 7-day free trial, 50% off your first month of service. Just go to oddslogic.com/Josh123. Next, we got Novig. Have you guys downloaded Novig yet? Well, it's a sports betting exchange. It's not a sports book. And the whole point there is you're going to get way better juice prices because you're not forced to pay whatever the odds makers are making you pay. So as a result, you're going to get way better juice, which means you can win at the same rate you would at DK or FanDuel or BetMGM or whatever, but you're going to make more money because you're risking less juice. So, for example, right now you can get Seattle -1.5 at +104 at Novig. You can get Rams +1.5 at -105. You can get Rams money line +110. Seattle Seahawks money line -112. You could go over 43.5 at +111 or under 43.5 at -113. So getting better numbers is super, super important because, again, it will, if you win, they're not going to boot you. But if you'd like to download Novig and fund your account, when you do that, there should be a little promo code. All you got to do is plug in Josh123, and they'll tack on an extra $25 to your account. Next, lastly, before we say our farewell, have you joined the Splash Sports NFL Playoff Survivor Contest yet? Well, if you haven't, now's the time. You have until the first playoff game starts. I think it is January 11th, I believe. But $25, again, kind of cool because you got to think about it a little differently. You got to save your Super Bowl champion for the last week. Hopefully you survive and get that far. So again, if you think the Rams are going to win it all, you don't want to use them, for your first play. I mean, they'll have a bye. I guess it's not a great example, but you would have to save them. So it's kind of cool. It's just a different spin on a regular Survivor. But if you'd like to join, you can find that link or just DM me on Twitter at Josh_insights, and I'll get you all set up. So as always, guys, 2 final thoughts. 1, whether I see you at the Borgata in Atlantic City, Twin River in Rhode Island, the Brook in New Hampshire, Foxwoods or Mohegan Sun down in Connecticut, at the Encore in Boston, Plainridge Park Casino, MGM Springfield, the Nash, in my neck of the woods on the border of Nashua, New Hampshire, and Massachusetts, or out in the desert where the true grinders get down, where Billy Walters sends his number runners, where the lowest juice possible is found at the South Point, or Sweat and Sharp Contrarian plays jumping in the stadium swim pool, cannonball, when you cash a big ticket at Circa. You know what you're going to do? You're going to walk up to me and show me Delaware, Old Dominion. Nothing better than capping a game based on the market, being aware of all the motivational factors and transfer edges, and then coming up bigly with a couple winners there. So show me Delaware, show me Old Dominion. First one's on me, next one's on you. We'll post about the book and reinvest it into Seattle tonight. So as always, guys, coming off a 2-1 or a 1-2, a 3-0 or an 0-3, a good night, a bad night, a fantastic night, a terrible night, a hot streak, a cold streak, somewhere in the middle. We just got to stay even-keeled. Never get too high when things are going well. Never get too low when we're struggling and nothing's going our way. Because there's always going to be ups and downs. There's going to be times when we're hot. There's going to be times when we're struggling. There's going to be times when we're grinding out just even keel. But we just got to stick right there in the middle and play the system matches as they come. So as always, guys, we're looking for games that fit our model against the public, with the house, with the pros, flat bet, avoid parlays, and get that CLV. If we can do that, we're going to be successful sports bettors. So have a great Thursday night, everybody. Hope to see you for the Rhythm Rundown tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And then, hey, go Seahawks. But good luck, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow for episode 419, a big Friday edition of the All Systems Go Sports Betting Podcast, powered by Rhythm. Good luck, everybody, and have a great Thursday night.